You trust her. You believe in the bond you've built, but sometimes something feels off. It's not always the obvious signs. Sometimes the truth hides in the smallest details. In a world where loyalty is rare and deception wears a friendly face, how can you truly know if she's being honest? Today we're diving deep into the 11 hidden signs. She's not loyal to you, the ones people never talk about but can destroy everything if ignored. Watch till the end, because missing even one could cost you everything. And if this hits home, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Stoic World, where wisdom meets reality. 1. Emotional distance. At first it's barely noticeable. The warmth in her text starts to fade. The conversations that once lasted hours now feel like a chore. You catch her distracted, giving half-hearted replies or zoning out when you talk. It's not that she's busy, it's that she's disconnected. Emotional distance is often the first, most subtle sign. She starts sharing less about her day, stops confiding in you, and the bond that once felt unbreakable begins to thin out. It's like she's physically present, but mentally somewhere else. If you're constantly feeling like you're talking to a wall, it's time to ask why. But here's the thing. Emotional detachment doesn't scream for attention. It whispers. It creeps in slowly, making you question whether it's just in your head. That's exactly why it's so dangerous. Don't ignore that shift. Emotional absence often precedes physical distance. 2. Secretive with her phone. We live in a world where our phones are an extension of ourselves. So, when she suddenly starts guarding hers like it's the crown jewels, it's a red flag waving right in front of you. Does she change her password without telling you? Is her phone always face down? Does she get anxious when you're near it? Sure, privacy matters. But secrecy, that's something else. If she jumps at notifications, quickly swipes them away, or suddenly leaves the room to answer calls, your gut starts asking questions, even if your mind tries to shut them down. Another tell? If she starts deleting messages, call logs, or keeps certain apps locked. It's no longer about privacy, it's about hiding something. In relationships, transparency builds trust. When secrecy steps in, trust silently steps out. 3. Inconsistent stories. Lies are fragile, they crack under pressure. If you start noticing small inconsistencies in her stories, pay attention. It might be the time she told you she was with friends, but later casually mentions she was somewhere else, or how her explanation of simple things keeps changing when you ask about them twice. It's the small slip-ups that reveal the truth. When someone's hiding something, they overthink their answers, leading to unnecessary details or weird vagueness. If her stories sound rehearsed, or there are gaps that don't add up, she might be walking a tightrope of lies. Here's a Stoic truth. The more someone hides, the heavier their words become. Listen closely. People expose themselves in the details. 4. Sudden interest in appearance. We all love self-improvement. But when someone drastically changes their appearance without any clear reason, it's worth questioning. Has she suddenly become obsessed with the gym? Bought a whole new wardrobe? Changed her hairstyle, perfume, or even her overall vibe out of the blue? Of course, self-care is great, but if it comes paired with emotional distance or secretive behavior, it could be a sign she's trying to impress someone else, especially if these changes happen overnight, without involving you in the excitement or asking for your opinion. It's about context. When these changes are paired with other red flags, it's often not about just feeling good. It's about being seen by someone new. 5. Unavailable during odd times. We were just friends hanging out. I didn't see your calls. My phone died. Work kept me late again. When someone's loyalty starts to crack, they often disappear during odd hours. Suddenly she's always busy, unreachable, or gives vague reasons for where she was. If she used to text you back instantly, but now hours pass without a reply. And when she finally responds, her explanations feel thin. It's time to notice the pattern, especially when you get that gut feeling, when something about her stories feels off. The Stoics believed in trusting logic over emotions, but sometimes your gut knows what your mind refuses to accept. 6. Decreased physical intimacy. Physical touch is more than just a gesture. It's an emotional connection. So when that starts fading, it often signals a deeper issue. You might notice that hugs feel forced, kisses are brief, and moments of intimacy are either rushed or completely absent. It's not always about being tired or stressed. Sometimes it's about emotional distance manifesting physically. If she pulls away when you go for a hug, avoids holding hands, or finds excuses to dodge intimate moments, it's not random. It's intentional. This kind of detachment isn't always obvious. It creeps in subtly. Over time, you go from late-night talks and physical closeness to sitting in silence, feeling miles apart despite being in the same room. The Stoics taught that every action reveals a deeper truth. In relationships, the absence of physical closeness often mirrors an absence of emotional loyalty. 7. Defensiveness when asked. Simple questions. Communication should flow easily in healthy relationships. But when someone's hiding something, even innocent questions can feel like an interrogation to them. Suddenly asking, "Where were you?" or "Who were you with?" triggers an over-the-top reaction.
She gets irritated, defensive, maybe even accuses you of being controlling.
This isn't just moodiness, it's a deflection tactic. By overreacting, she flips the focus from her suspicious behavior to your questioning. It makes you second-guess yourself and feel guilty for even asking. Stoic philosophy teaches us to focus on reason over emotion, but in these moments, the emotional reaction is exactly where the truth lies. If every simple question feels like walking on eggshells, it's often because there's something she doesn't want you to find out. 8. Spending more time with friends you never meet. It's perfectly normal for partners to have their own social circles, but there's a difference between having friends and using them as a cover. If she frequently goes out with friends you've never met or keeps her social life oddly private, that's a red flag. Think about it. If everything's innocent, why the secrecy? Why avoid introductions or sharing simple details about who she's spending time with? When someone's being loyal, they naturally include you in their world, not shut you out of it. If she starts using vague phrases like, "It's just the girls," or "You wouldn't know them," every single time, without any attempt to introduce you, it's often because she doesn't want you asking questions. Stoic wisdom reminds us that trust is built on transparency. When that's missing, there's usually a reason. 9. Sudden mood swings. One minute she's affectionate, the next she's cold and distant. These emotional roller coasters aren't always just stress, they're often the result of internal guilt and conflict. When someone's living a double life emotionally, it creates tension they can't fully hide. You might notice her being overly sweet or attentive after being absent or distant, almost as if she's overcompensating. Then, without warning, she snaps over small things or acts irritated for no clear reason. These mood swings aren't random. They're often tied to emotional confusion and guilt. Stoics believe that emotional chaos often reflects internal conflict. In relationships, inconsistent moods can be the outward sign of a mind weighed down by secrets. 10. Gut feeling, the unseen alarm. Sometimes logic can't explain it, but your intuition knows. There's this quiet voice inside that says, something isn't right. You notice changes in her energy, her tone, the little things she does or stops doing. You brush it off at first, telling yourself you're overthinking, but that feeling lingers. Stoic philosophy teaches us to value reason, but it also warns against ignoring inner awareness. Your gut often picks up on patterns your conscious mind hasn't fully processed yet. It's the subtle body language, the shift in conversations, the faint disconnect you can't quite name but feel. If your gut keeps sounding the alarm, stop silencing it. Intuition isn't paranoia, it's instinct trying to protect you. 11. She stops planning a future with you. A clear sign someone's heart isn't in the relationship anymore is when future plans disappear. Think about it. Couples who see a future together talk about it. They make plans, trips, events, goals, but when she stops including you in her long-term vision, that's a big warning sign. It starts subtly. Maybe she stops saying we and starts saying I. Future conversations become vague. Suddenly she's hesitant to commit to things months ahead. Birthdays, holidays, even casual plans. She avoids locking anything in. This shift often means her mind is already elsewhere, even if her body isn't. She's emotionally pulling away, preparing for a future that doesn't include you. Stoicism teaches us to face hard truths, even when they hurt. And the truth here, when someone stops imagining a future with you, they've likely already pictured it with someone else. Loyalty isn't always lost in loud betrayals. Sometimes it fades quietly, hidden in the small shifts we choose to ignore. If even one of these signs felt familiar, it's not about jumping to conclusions. It's about opening your eyes to what's really happening. Awareness is power, and in a world full of masks, seeing the truth is your greatest defense. If this video opened your eyes or made you think twice, don't keep it to yourself. Like, share, and subscribe to Stoic World for more wisdom that protects your heart and sharpens your mind. Drop a comment below if you've ever noticed these signs, or if you're going through something right now, you're not alone. And remember, trust isn't given. It's earned. And when it's broken, it leaves lessons that last a lifetime. Stay strong, stay aware, and until next time, stay stoic.